Hey, they say the moon landing was fake. JFK, man, they wanted him erased. Aliens and bunkers, government lies, chemtrails painting secrets in the skies. It's a co-host, dual voice, or the code. Digging through the chaos down every dark road. New world order, we taking names. Bigfoot's real and he knows the game. Conspiracy chaos where the truth gets wild. From pyramids to lizard kings in exile. They hide it all, but we pull the thread. So buckle up tight, it's all in your head. Conspiracy chaos where the truth gets wild. From pyramids to lizard kings in exile. They hide it all, but we pull the thread. So buckle up tight, it's all in your head.
This is Conspiracy Chaos. Truth, fiction, or both? Let's dive in.
Let's go. We're back with another episode of Conspiracy Chaos. My name is RGB. Joining me, as always, got my co-host, Area 51, Anthony, and Florida Mike. What's up, boys?
Yo, yo.
Right, fellas.
So we're going to have a guest on tonight. We're going to go down in the south and have Deplorable Janet on joining us here tonight. Janet, appreciate you taking the time and hopping on with the Chaos crew.
Thank you for asking me on, and I'm looking forward to this because I love meeting new people.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were introduced to you by Drew from Speaking in Code. We recently had him on. Really great conversation with Drew. But was speaking to you a little bit off air and then conversations on via email and such. And interested to hear a little bit about your background and how you dove into the conspiracy. And I know you have a medical background as well that we're interested in talking about. But why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how it all started for you?
Oh, that is a very long, deep story about how I got to where I am now. But it started nursing for me as a career because I had an older sister who actually died from a medication,
Jeez.
an injection for a migraine. So that got me interested in the medical field. And so before I became a nurse, I've worked in the medical field like my entire life and did all kinds of different jobs and stuff like that. And people don't understand the depth of the medical field and the amount of conspiracy that is in the medical field itself. And obviously proven with the recent, scamdemic and all of that stuff, but it goes way, way deeper than that. So it's kind of a perfect pairing for me being from that background and being in nursing and being in every aspect of healthcare to several years ago, like when the pandemic was first coming out. I had a really good friend and him and I used to do you know what Periscope is?
Yeah. It used to be like on Twitter there. Yep, I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
So him and I used to do Periscopes all the time. And of course, he was a co-host on another podcast. And he said, you should come on as a guest. And I'm like, I'm not going to come on there. Nobody's going to want to listen to me, whatever. But I ended up being on their show for quite a while as, like guest appearances and stuff. And then became part of kind of like their staff for a while.
Okay.
And then from there, I was like, you know what? I have so much to say. I'm just going to do my own thing. So that's kind of how the conspiracy and health topics and all that stuff came about. So.
Well,
Nice.
first
Now,
of all, go ahead, Raj.
you go ahead.
I'm sorry about your sister. That is terrible. And just what I'm realizing with the medical field is on the prescription end, how they just get you hooked on these prescriptions because I can't get off of 2 prescription pills. And it's like they just, once they get you, you're,
Right.
And so dependent on them.
The thing about it too is that they keep changing like the normal numbers for everyone, whether it's blood sugar numbers or blood pressure numbers is the most recent thing. And, you have a fatty liver and all these things that they throw out there is to get you in that diagnosis category where they can be like, oh, nope, you got to take this prescription because if you don't, you could die from this or whatever. And even the whole cholesterol thing is a scam in the first place because you should have high cholesterol because it's a neuroprotectant for your brain. Cholesterol has huge functioning in your body as a whole. So the lower numbers go, the worse off you're going to feel and the more things that you're susceptible to because your body's not processing vitamin D and it's not doing all these other things that cholesterol actually does and is required in the body. So
I've heard that. I have heard that.
Yep.
It's very interesting.
You're right though. When you were saying in the beginning how just the medical in general is kind of like a whole conspiracy, even when it comes down to like pricing for
100%.
it's crazy. Like I think Trump was supposed to do it where they're supposed to give you like options, like for like same as your car insurance. You get to pick the options that you're gonna pick, and there's the prices, and you can see who offers what. So say the guy Johnny down the street offers for 500, but the big wigs charging you $3,000. You should have the options to go and get. Obviously, the care might be better at the place for $3,000, but they don't even give you the option to do that.
Right. And that's because the medical industry as a whole is so deeply ingrained in our political system. And if our pharmaceutical system was to collapse, our economy would collapse because
100%.
they pump so much money into it. And I don't, one of the things I always tell patients if they're going into the hospital for something, number one, when they have you sign when you come in and, this is your admission paperwork and stuff like that, always demand that they print you a copy before you sign anything because they have started getting very sneaky about what they put in those admission forms. And now you have to consent that they're automatically going to be able to give you biologics at any time. So even if you are completely unconscious, they can give you whatever kind of injection that they want to give you without your consent because you signed it on the main consent form. And not only that, but now they also have put in there where they can take any kind of blood or tissue samples from you that they want during a procedure. And then they sell those off to people. They don't have to tell you what they took. They don't have to tell you that they took anything. And if they send it for like genetic testing or send it in, say they're going to send your stuff to 23andMe, they don't have to tell you or disclose where they sent it to or what the results were. So you have no idea as a patient that they're doing these things to you because you're sedated.
How
And
long's that been intact? Just out of personal question.
That has literally gone on since the start of the pandemic. Is when they started.
Raj,
when they
I
started
made the
taking
cut.
those things
So
in. Yeah.
as you're talking, I'm literally having a
it's
panic
not
attack
funny.
here.
It's so fucked up. Raj, listen,
Right.
I was going to ask you how much do you actually read before you sign your name on those forms?
So,
100%.
just to give Janet a little rundown, I had a heart surgery back in 2019. 7, 8 years ago, 2018, 2019. And this, like you're saying though, I didn't look at the papers. I was in so much pain. I had a stomach pain. I went to the hospital. I didn't look at the papers. I just needed treatment. Like I was hurting. And when I had my open heart surgery, like at that point, like I guess like in my situation was I knew something was wrong, obviously, and I needed to get taken care of. And at that point, not to get too spiritual, but like it was in the Lord's hands. It was out of my hands. I was in that situation. There was nothing I could do about that situation. Like something had to be done. I physically knew something had to be done, kind of thing. Once I went under, I don't know what the fuck happened. They could have took a liver, a kidney, send it to Abu Dhabi for all I know. Like
I'll tell you, I've had many procedures. I have stomach issues, so I've had the endoscopies. Like I've had probably 4 or 5 of them. But yeah, like when they put you under, I mean, like I don't
Look,
know who dresses me. I don't know. I wake up. I'm like,
nope.
it's a nice nap. I mean, like whatever they do in the when they put you under there, it's like Roger's right though. But it's like you do trust the doctors at that point. And when you sign over, I'm going to be 100%. I'm guilty of it. When I sign
Yeah.
those forms, I'm just like, yep, I gotcha. I just want to get
And
in and out, kind of.
that's how they got away with it for several years now, is because they know people don't read what they're signing, and that's why I said you should force them to print you a copy, because a lot of times now it's electronic on an iPad or something. Scroll through there, initial here, sign, and you know, if you don't feel good in the first place and you're there, you really don't want to be bothered with looking at that. And then other times people are just lazy, and so they scroll right through it and they sign it. So if you have them print a copy and you see something on there, which a lot of times they'll have you do admission paperwork before you ever go to the hospital now, like if it's an elective procedure, and they'll tell you they can't print it. There's no way we can print it. That's a lie. They do that for a specific purpose, so that they always have your consent, which they can do to you whatever they want to do because you signed it away. You
Mhm.
should never sign electronically ever,
Yeah.
ever.
It's good to
So
know.
if you're going through this admission paperwork and there's something that you don't agree with, cross it out and put do not consent and initial it. Always. Always.
Good to know.
Wow.
Mhm.
I haven't been. I avoid hospitals. I avoid prescription drugs, medications.
Same.
I haven't. I can't. I think the last time I took a prescription was probably when I was a child. I mean, I
Mhm.
stay away from all vaccines, but my mother, she got multiple boosters from for the
Mhm.
COVID vaccine,
Mhm.
and then 2 years later, colon cancer the size of
Yep.
a baseball, you know.
Yep.
And fortunately, we had to go to this generic hospital down here in Florida. They got some of the best care, I tell you. And it was a nightmare. Her whole entire
Mhm.
thing was a nightmare. Like she got a bill and it was like $30 for doctor asked if she was suicidal. $30 for
Oh my
how
gosh,
are you
bro.
feeling today? Like, and there was a
The
list. And
bill.
my mom was like, I don't remember any of that. I said, yeah, they
Right.
probably went in there. And it wasn't even a doctor on her insurance. So she
Right.
got charged double,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And and I made her fight it. She showed it to me, so I made her fight it. And then they put, they kept telling her after her surgery that her iron was low.
Mhm.
They gave her 4 bags of iron,
Mhm.
and her thing was still low. And I told her, I said, I bet you they didn't even hit your vein. I bet
Mhm.
you're just chilling in your arm. Sure enough, they released her after we said something, and I got home, and sure enough, her arm was like the size of a I don't know, a banana tree stalk. I
Yep.
mean, it was just full of iron, 4 bags of iron just chilling in her arm. They're like, oh, there's nothing we
Wow.
can do about it. It'll go away.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait for your body to reabsorb, 4 liters of iron that we just pumped into you
Yeah.
inappropriately. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh, the
you brought
malpractice.
up
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you brought up something, um, that's also really important, something that I always tell people as well, is if you're a patient in the hospital or any facility, request an itemized bill
Hmm.
every time you get
Yep.
released, because they are really bad about, a lot of stock rooms have, like, stickers on them, on whatever they're going to grab, staple removers or whatever. They'll grab that sticker and they'll put it on, put it on their sleeve or something like that, that they meant to go put it on your chart, but they put it in somebody else's chart. And the amount of upcharging in medical is ridiculous. I used to chart audit as well, because we would have patients that would go in for a really minor procedure, and then they would get a bill for like $80,000. And they're like, what the hell is this for? I brought my own medication from home. And they're being charged for medications that they don't even take. So the amount of fraud that is in medical billing is
Mhm.
ridiculous.
So
And upcoding is a big thing because the more that you can charge a patient, like there's different levels, even for office visits. So the more detailed it gets, the higher the charge is. And so they will purposely upcharge patients because that facility rakes in more money that way.
I did get an itemized bill for my procedure.
Hmm.
I had a triple bypass,
Right.
so
You
I
had a very pricey bill.
sure did.
Hmm.
But when you do look at the cost of everything, I mean, a screw or a blade costs
Right.
this much, and it's like, holy shit! Like when you
12
think of,
$12 for a box of Kleenex that you could literally go to the Dollar
uh-huh,
Tree and spend $1 on.
I was
Yeah.
charged for
Mhm.
rubber gloves,
Hmm.
like to the
Yep.
to the
They're
detail.
all obviously upcharged. It's so
Oh, yes.
disgusting. I mean,
Hmm.
You're
it's
getting
Yeah.
charged $80 a meal for elementary school lunch food.
Right.
I mean, dude, my little fun ride to the hospital that night, if it wasn't for insurance, would have cost me
10 grand.
Oh, yeah.
this stuff, and
Um,
it's literally
oh yeah.
5 minutes away from
not
your house.
not even. I could
It's
walk
it's
there
probably
faster
it's
than
probably 2 miles.
yeah, I
Yeah.
could walk there faster, but yes, it's a shame
That's
what they do
crazy.
and take advantage.
Yeah.
But there's who's behind it is the question. It's the
I have
government, a lot of money.
I, I have a question.
Hmm.
How
Sure.
much of an influence does a medicine rep have to doctors? Like, is there
Oh,
incentives offered? I like try this new pill. It's not even
why,
for
yes.
trial yet.
Why, yes. And I have perfect examples of that because I worked at a teaching facility, worked for the same doctor for a uber long time. And he had favorite reps that would come in, and the company may have a lot of commercials on TV. Can't say what that company is, although it starts with a P, because I don't want to get sued.
You guys, you guys
Understand?
know Travis Kelsey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. So
Hmm.
they were hunting buddies. And so because it's wink wink inappropriate for them to give you direct gifts
Yep.
or anything like that because of the whole scandal that evolved
Mhm.
like in the early 90s or whatever. Um he would be like, "Oh, well, I am gonna, it's if you want to come hunting at my cabin in upstate New York, here it is. I have it. It's yours for the weekend." And or because he was a big hunter, hey, I bought like a whole table for the Ducks Unlimited banquet. If you want to attend, so it would be little backdoor gifts worth not
Hmm.
Yeah.
direct gifts. However, I got in trouble because a patient gave me a Christmas ornament.
Jesus.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
Because you know why?
A
Because
Christmas ornament that had
he
my name on it.
he
So,
was he was worried about that one small little thing
mhm.
opening up the door to all the big shit he was doing.
Oh,
That's
100%.
why the little things mattered
Oh yeah.
in his case.
100%. And
Hmm.
friends that get free care because they come in the back door after hours, and we give them all the medication samples that there are. So then the patients that needed the samples because they were poor couldn't get them. So I may or may not have hid samples on lots of occasions
Good for you.
Good
to
for you.
give to people who actually needed them. So
I
I think the
mean,
price of insulin is ridiculous.
it
It's
is
free in
retarded.
every country but ours.
It is. And the funny thing about insulin reps or any kind of diabetes drug, they are the reps that will literally come and bring bags and bags of candy or like sugary stuff from Starbucks or whatever.
They're
And
bringing a
that's
dozen donuts into the office for
all the
everybody.
time,
Yep.
all the time. And it's
Yeah, but
always
here's your
the
medicine for
reps that
diabetes.
are, yeah, 100% of the time. It was always them, which they can provide you lunches and stuff like that, but they're not supposed to provide gifts to the doctors. But yes, it
Give
happens.
you a
Yeah.
And
give it to McDonald's.
the more you prescribe that medication that they're pitching you, the more money that doctor makes. And so do they get
Mm,
a backdoor deal from them? Absolutely they do. Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Gifts of
unreal, right? Like
service, man.
you're getting treated for
Mhm.
money. You're getting
Mhm.
paid on both ends.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, you're sick forever because you relied on a doctor who you thought knew what
Right.
he was doing for the good of people. He was actually doing the good for his Ferrari sitting out back.
But you know the funny thing about every doctor that I've ever worked for, they do not read the literature that is brought in by the reps. They listen to their short little spiel that may last like a minute or two. They leave them paperwork. The doctors don't read it. They don't read package inserts for vaccinations or anything like that. And so part of my job when they would come in trying to sell vaccines, I would read through this stuff and be like, nope, this is a nope. Not doing this here, not carrying this here, absolutely not. So,
Did you ever get
I mean,
pushback from the doctor saying why not on particular ones? Because he seemed
um,
to.
yes, but I think he knew that I knew my stuff and I
Mhm.
was not gonna back down, and so the couple times that I told him, "Absolutely not, we're not carrying it here. It's a safety concern, it's a problem with this or that," then for the most part, he would be okay with that. The only thing
Mhm.
he had a problem with was actual medications that he would tell me to give patients, like the migraine injections, and I would be like, "We're not doing this
Mhm.
mm.
because this patient has heart problems. That's contraindicated in a patient that has heart problems. I'm not doing it. I will not give it." So, did I get in trouble a time or two for defying orders? Absolutely. But
Cost
guess
him a couple
what?
You
grand,
did
you know
for
you
what's
did.
right. Thank you for
I'm
doing that. Yeah.
I'm not here to serve you. My oath is to my patients, not to your pocketbook. So,
Hmm.
Deplorable
Yeah,
Janet stands on business.
We
yep.
love it.
yeah.
Thank
And
you
the
Amen.
so much for that.
Amen.
Yeah, and I'm the kind of person that I'm the nicest person you ever want to meet until you back me into a corner and then you should probably run like fast. I've had doctors that have like come at me before and like got all in my business and I will not tolerate that. And I've told doctors before, I'm like, you know what? You're human just like me. You put your pants on the same way in the morning, and I'm not going to have
Mm.
you disrespect me. So I expect a full apology. And that's just like it is. I don't put up with garbage.
It's awesome. So
So,
I have a question.
Love
It's
it.
personally. I've been on Celexa for about like 15 years now.
oh
Been
my.
on it for personal. Yeah. And I've been every time I try to get off of it, whether I try to wean myself off or even when I get down, I get flu symptoms. Literally, I feel like
Mhm.
absolute shit where I just go back
Withdrawal.
to it. Yeah. I just
Mhm.
go back to it. It's just
Hmm.
literally
Right.
to the point where I have no choice. So I'm just like, you know
So
what?
Anthony,
I'm
when you
literally. I don't feel I need the Celexa anymore. At my point in life, I was taking it like I was a very nervous person with my firstborn child. A lot of other reasons, but now I am just on it for the point I am so dependent on it. Do you have any suggestions for me or like?
It definitely, that is one of the medications, that you have to taper off of. You have to be on a plan to taper off of that. And so the dosage should be lowered, and then you should, there's only so many dosages of that medication. I don't know which strength you're on right now,
Like
but it should
20
be
milligram. Yeah.
it should be lowered till the point where they can't lower it anymore, and then it should be like every other day, every 3 days. It has to be a long tailored wean off plan from 99% of the medications in that category because it will make you deathly ill. And
It
that
was.
is another reason why a lot of patients stay in the system forever because they get so violently sick when they try to
Hmm.
stop.
So, Anthony, when you take the break from it and then you're sick, like you get on through the withdrawal symptoms, is it like almost instantly when you take it within like a half
I
hour you're
feel it
feel
over my body, take over my body. I'll
yeah.
never forget one
Mhm.
day I was at the store and I was so irritable with customers. They were all coming in. I just could not. I'm very good with people. I'm usually the nicest person, and I had to get out of there. And I didn't really know what the problem was at this point because I just felt like crap. But then it dawned on me that I said, I'm trying to wean off of Celexa right now. I said, I'm on like my day off right now. I said, I think that's what it is, dude. I
Mhm.
said, I really think that's what it is. I went home and I took my normal dose that I took. And I literally was laying in bed watching, and instantly I felt my body. It's insane the feeling that it took over, that I just felt better. Yeah. So
Yep.
then I haven't
Hmm.
tried since then to
Like
get
giving a
off of it
starving dog food.
because it's like exactly it's like what's to me it's like, is it really hurting my body just to take this one little pill just to not feel like shit, like, but like it's just really
But
on
it
just one story of how they have you hooked.
and it is dangerous for people because it crosses the blood-brain barrier, and so think of, like, your brain as like a chain link fence, right? And so anytime you get a signal, your synapses start firing, they're sending messages along this fence, and so what that medication does, it, like, burns holes through sections of that fence, and so that's no longer connected together again. And so when you stop that, because that link is broken, your brain doesn't know what to do. And that's why it's imperative for people to taper off of things like that so that your brain can have time to retrain and repair itself because it's been broken for such a long time in that chain of things the way they're supposed to be working. So yeah,
I
you're
don't
gonna
even know.
have all those, and because your gut and your brain are like it's like considered the second brain, the gut brain connection. And so almost immediately people start getting really sick to their stomach. A lot of people get, like, sorry, that's gross, but diarrhea,
Hmm.
stuff like that. You'll get a headache, you'll get anxiety, sweating,
Flu symptoms.
yeah, you literally feel like you got run over by a bus from head to toe. And a lot of people will also experience like electrical zaps when they come off of stuff like that, again, like I said, because that link and that fence is broken, and so your brain is firing and there's nothing to pick up those signals.
So in the
So what do you
oh,
mean
God.
by like electrical zaps? Like physically you'll feel like you're getting like a
It
jolt
it
or
feels
I
like
felt
you're getting electrocuted.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that, and then I'll never forget this feeling when I was
huh.
first getting on Celexa. It was the weirdest feeling in my head. It was like a pressure. It was really, really hard. It's hard to explain,
Like someone
but
was sitting on your head.
yeah, it was a weird
Mhm,
pressure. It was, yes, and then I looked it up. It's pretty common for people that are just getting on Celexa.
mhm,
It was a weird feeling. But
yep,
yeah, and I've experienced those zapping feelings too in the brain. It's just
mhm.
brain medicine. I don't even want to get into my next question was going to be my other medicine is omeprazole, stomach medicine, which is another one that I'm absolutely hooked on because when I try to taper off that, I feel sick and it's like I can't live a
And
day.
she's gonna charge you in a
No,
couple
that's what I'm
minutes.
saying. What do I? That's what I'm
That's
saying.
what I do all day, every
No,
day.
I love it. It's like I would love to go to
Mhm.
natural remedies, but everything I eat, if I try to wean myself off the omeprazole, I eat a piece of toast and I get the heartburn, the GERD. Just like I'm so dependent on it at this point, I just take it. I'm like, you know,
And a lot of that is because, again, the gut and the brain are connected, and so your Celexa and your omeprazole are working, like, against each other
hmm.
because the Celexa is messing with the gut and the normal bacteria and the normal flora and the balance in your gut, And omeprazole is supposed to be fixing the problems in your gut, but it's actually compounding everything. And so your digestive system is so messed up between those two medications that it's going to take a while for you to fix
Reboot.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So your like digestive enzymes for you would be fabulous. Every time that you eat, you're supposed to take a digestive enzyme, which has not just enzymes, but it has probiotics and
I was gonna say it's
prebiotics.
yogurt. A yogurt's pretty good, right, for that? I mean,
There's
go ahead.
actual pills that you can take that
Okay.
have the pre and the postbiotics and the enzymes at the same time, because that will help you to thoroughly digest your food the way it's supposed to be, gets your gut bacteria back into regulation. And I'll send you later like a good one to
Yeah,
take.
I'll message you.
Um, but yeah, it's like it's you have to repair what these medications have broken inside your gut, because when the gut balance is off, so are your hormones. So if you find yourself like sweating at inappropriate times, or getting the shakes or things like that, and a lot of it's dietary as well,
Mhm.
cutting out any kind of sugar and any kind of carbs is absolutely paramount
Mm.
necessity.
I
And
do the
your
complete
body
opposite.
needs
It's terrible.
your
I
your
know.
body needs more protein. And so um the best source of protein for your body and for the reparative portion is red meat, because it has natural B12 in it.
Kind of
And
go carnivore diet.
yeah, it has plenty of other things in it. So cutting out anything sweet, sugary, starchy, anything like that. And a lot of people will go, okay, well, I'll switch to fruit. Well, no, because fruit and vegetables,
Full of
certain
sugar.
ones, have tons and tons of sugar in them. Tons. And
Mhm.
starches turn into sugar. And so you got to be really careful with your balance in your diet, but at least for a couple weeks in a row you should be doing like carnivore, strictly meat type
All
stuff.
right. I like
Mm.
meat. Listen, I like roast beef. Give me some roast beef sandwiches.
No
Solid.
bread.
No, not from,
No,
Oh
and
yeah,
don't get
no
no
roast
bread.
beef
bread.
from,
Mm-mm.
and don't get roast beef from the grocery store.
No.
Don't get that lunch meat. Don't get that crap. Make your
Yeah,
own
no.
roast beef and slice it.
You are absolutely correct, because any kind of the deli meat has tons and tons of preservatives in it,
Mm,
which is
Mostly
really
fake
bad for
meat.
your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Bill Gates, lab created, 3D printed.
Mm,
Yeah, right.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Some
But thank you
salmon,
anyways for my
maybe.
thank you, Janet. And I'll mess
You're
if you
welcome.
any information you can message us or about my
Mhm.
dietary problems is highly appreciated for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But can we talk about another question? This is something that you're probably very familiar with is with the scamdemic. Let's talk about all the incentives with like
Oh,
when people would die and the incentives in hospitals. Do you know anything about that? If
I
like,
do.
yeah,
I
go ahead.
do. And that, at the beginning of the pandemic, that got me removed from Twitter. I'm on account 14 now,
Great.
because
Yeah.
since I did billing and coding before I ever got into the nursing stuff, I knew that anytime there's a pandemic, endemic, anything like that, and government monies are involved, they get anywhere from 12 to $20,000, like
Per
$12,000 to
mhm.
$20,000 per patient that they can diagnose in whatever means necessary as dying from, this endemic, pandemic, whatever they classify it as. So it's an incentive. And so, like, people that would come in from a motorcycle accident that died from that, oh, we tested them
Yep.
for COVID, and they were positive for COVID, even though, hello, they died going off a cliff on a
Right.
Yeah.
motorcycle. But it's $20,000, and the more people that you can diagnose during those times, the more money floods into your facility. And so, not just through the deaths, but also through the testing. So, why do you think every hospital in America pretty much was like, oh, we have to test everybody that comes in the door? We got to test every 5 to 7 days, every employee, every patient, everything, because any kind of testing or laboratory work or any of that stuff that they do all gets a big reimbursement check from the government. So you, as a taxpayer, are basically paying the hospital to do things to you, to damage you, and to test you because they need more money flowing in their
Revolving
pocket.
door. Revolving
Mhm.
Revolving
door.
door.
That makes
Yeah.
And then remember, even during the scamdemic, I had a situation where I was a close contact at work or something, and I had tested. I think I did test positive at the time. No, I didn't, because it was the summertime, and they made me go up to like this special facility to go, like, and it was like a scene out of Outbreak, to go get tested. And I was like,
Mhm.
I seen it, and like I was like, I'm good. Then they're like, well, we're not going to pay you. I said,
Mhm.
that's fine. I said, that is absolutely fine. And they're like, I was supposed to do the 10-day quarantine or whatever. I just went and played. I just went and played golf for a week. Like, I was fine with it. Like,
Right.
literally went outside and played. I was like, all right, we're good. And then once my time was up, I went back to work. But it was like, I'm
Mhm.
not doing this. Like, you
I'll
should have
never forget
seen
when
the
I
place I
had
was going to. I was
when
like,
I tested
Mhm.
positive, Raj. I had somebody calling me every day to make sure I was home or to make sure I was quarantining or whatever the fuck.
Seeing
Like,
if the
it
house
was
arrest
insane.
worked.
I don't even know who it was that was calling me. I mean, it's somebody who just sort of worked for the health department or something, I suppose.
I
I
guess.
don't know. Yeah.
Well,
I don't
and
know.
it's funny because like any kind of true actual science-based knowledge completely went out the window
Hmm.
during that
Oh my
time.
god. Yeah.
When and it made me chuckle, like when it first appeared on the scene, and it's like, oh, it's definitely respiratory. It's cough and sore throat. And then we throw in runny nose, and then we throw in vomiting, and then we throw in a stomach ache and stuff. And I'm like,
Loss of
I'm
taste and
like,
smell.
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this is okay. None of this is making sense. Well, stand 6 feet apart, unless you're at a protest, and then you don't have to social distance.
Right.
Let's put arrows on the
Stupid
floor in
mask.
the grocery store to tell people like this lane you go this way and this lane you go this way. Let's do that, although not everybody followed that. Even employees didn't follow that. Wear a mask when you go to a restaurant, but once you sit down at a table, you can take it off.
Hmm.
We had a
It
we
would
had
be fine for me because I'm short, so it
at
always
Cape
went right
Cod,
over.
Raj, at Cape Cod around the pools. I'll never forget this one. Around the pool area, you had to wear the mask. So if like you were like laying on the this is midsummer, okay, it was hot.
Mhm,
So you had to lay on the lounge chair with a mask on, okay. But when you got in the pool, you could take the mask off. Obviously,
mhm.
you'll fucking drown yourself with the mask, trying to
Right,
swim with the mask on.
right.
But it's just funny to me. I'm like, just let people just take the mask off in general. What is the difference? You know what I
And
mean?
you're
You
outside,
got
dude.
kids, you got
We
swim,
would
they're swimming
go.
with each other.
We would go
Like,
golfing. I would drive to the course with somebody, and then I'd have to get in a separate golf cart because we couldn't be 6 feet. I'm like, I just drove here with the guy. Let's just take
Right.
the same
They
golf
were
cart.
literally in my car, which if anybody works in the hospital system in any aspect, whether it's you're a housekeeper, nurse, doctor, whatever, the surgical mask that you wear in a hospital are one time use only. And anytime you touch it, if you're adjusting the bar that goes over your nose, you're pulling
Contaminated.
it down, anything like that, it's contaminated. It has to be thrown out. So what was the sense?
Hmm.
And oh, you have to wear that same mask literally every day. You literally are a walking contamination factory at
mhm.
that point in time.
And then the amount of masks that you would just see on the ground, like in like
Yes.
shopping centers, like
Yes.
you would just,
Everywhere.
it was disgusting, man. Come
N-
on.
Yep.
Now,
And not a single mask to a real deadly virus. None of those masks are
Yeah.
protecting you anyway.
No,
no.
because and especially with that particular thing with COVID, it literally was too small for that mask to pick up anyway. So it literally goes right through that mask.
Mm.
And what is the point as a healthcare worker of me wearing a mask in the first place is so that I don't sneeze or cough in your wound if I'm sick. So the point is not to protect everything around you and all your coworkers and all of the stuff. It is literally so I don't get spit or snot in your wound.
Mhm.
That's literally the point.
Now, prior to the pandemic, as you were being someone in the medical field, did you see, like, I mean, now that you look back, did you see it coming? Did you see like the setup? You know what I'm
Um,
saying?
I'm gonna say yes because as long as I've been in healthcare, we've had SARS, we've had MERS, we've had Ebola, we've had West Nile, we've had Zika, we've had swine flu, bird flu, all these things that they've thrown out there to see if it sticks on the wall, right? That it's going to be a pandemic, it's going to be an endemic, an epidemic, whatever it is. It has literally been one thing after the other, and the convenience of it, right after these WEF summits
Hmm.
or tabletop exercises or whatever.
How the
Um,
COVID and 5G happened together.
Right, 100%. And there's always like a telltale sign of what's coming next, especially if you pay attention to patents that are coming out or releases about medications or things that the government is buying up. Like the government is literally and huge stock of anything that and this is a cousin of Ebola. They're very closely related, but Marburg virus. And it's like a hemorrhagic thing where you bleed from every orifice in your body. The
Uh,
government already owns every single medication, injection, treatment, etc., etc. So when you see them start stockpiling certain things, you know exactly what's coming down the pipeline. So it's like a rinse and repeat
Do you
cycle.
think? Do you think when COVID like first popped off, that whole 2 weeks flatten the curve? Do you think that was originally going to be like a quick thing, like it was with the bird flu and SARS, and you
No.
know, that was the whole like that
Yeah,
was.
because the mRNA vaccinations have been in
Mm,
the pipeline since like 2015. Or before, I think it's actually 2013 that they've been working on these things. And so knowing that, I'm like, there's no way they're going to let this
Mm.
go because it's a big
hmm.
money maker. And then we have all these specialty companies that are coming out with the nasal swabs and all of
Mhm.
that stuff. And
Right.
I'm like,
So
"Hmm,
when we were seeing all like the trucks filled with dead bodies and like they were running out of the room. No, it's like
People
so
dropping.
no,
yeah,
I mean, do you think that from what I read, a lot of the deaths they said once they put the ventilator on them, they had serious health problems already. Then they
right.
put the ventilator on them. Once they put the ventilator on them, there was literally no turning back, and then
Right. Because it was suffocating the patients to death.
mm,
Mm.
and that was it.
Mhm.
And then they were I think these people really were dying. It was just they had the wrong.
But you
Um,
know what's so funny about like anytime something like this comes in the news, even like the monkeypox and stuff like that, it's they got to sell you the fear factor, right? If you don't do this, all your coworkers will die, your parents, your grandchildren, whatever. Everyone's going to die that knows you. If you
aggressive
don't,
protective
if you
programming.
don't go get this, it's for the good of the public health and safety. They have to push that fear porn to get people to buy in because we're so easily manipulated. And the media runs with it. And so they have to push as much as they can to return the profits that they were expecting. And so even like during that whole time, not only were they getting money for um what's it called? I'm having a total brain fart. Never mind. I'll think of it in a second.
All the
I'll load
insurance
back
money
to it.
from like doing all the insurance money from
They
getting all
were
the COVID
doing
deaths.
they were doing like specific treatments, and they're like IgG treatments or whatever that are like immunoglobulins. I
Mm.
have a complete brain fart at the moment.
All good.
But they were giving them those. They were getting money for the testing. They were getting money for lab work, which, oh my God, you cannot with a nasal swab be like, oh, you have variant Q. That doesn't happen from a nasal swab. You cannot do that without actual genetic testing of your blood and stuff. That you can't do it through a nasal swab. And so when they're going, oh, this patient has a strain Q, this one's got R, that's not possible. But they're doing getting money for the testing. They're getting money for the lab work, including assumptive diagnosing patients, which means they didn't touch you at all, but looking at you, they just assumed you have this diagnosis. They're getting money for death certificates. They're getting money for
Yep.
the immunoglobulin treatments. So they literally are making money hand over fist. And then the vaccines are introduced. And then these companies already have medications for myocarditis
Mhm.
conveniently in the pipeline, waiting to come out as soon as the vaccines are rolled out from the same company.
From the same, yeah, they make, yep, same
Because they
company.
knew.
Yep.
They knew from the get-go this was a problem. I sat in on an FDA meeting at the very first part of it, and they had CDC doctors, FDA people, and I'm listening to them talk about, these are the possible things that we could see coming down the pipeline with this, and these are the problems. And they're naming all this cardiac stuff and neurological problems and the whole 9 yards, down this huge list of stuff. And then at the end of the meeting, they approved it anyway. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, okay.
Yeah.
It's
We'll
like
just
when you
look the
listen.
other way.
It's like when you listen to a commercial though, and it's at the end of the commercial. The side effects are diarrhea,
Yes.
heart
Say it
attack,
really
sudden
fast.
death, unaliving, blah blah blah.
Death, dismemberment.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck? Who's gonna take this?
I haven't done the
People will,
numbers.
because the
Yeah,
TV will tell them to.
I haven't done the numbers, but I feel like just by observation, like I feel like the vaccine was also like a cancer accelerant.
Oh, absolutely. Because
Yes, a lot of people are
uh,
dying from cancer faster than it's sad to say, but the
my
average rate.
I will say that my mother was one of those people too. She argued with me at the beginning, and she's like, "You don't know what you're talking about. I watch The View and I watch the Today Show, and they're telling her it's safe and effective." And I'm like, "Mom, no, it's not. You have such a small chance of getting this in the first place, and if you do, it's not going to be any big deal. I can help you through it. Whatever you need, not a problem." Does she listen? No. She went and got it. She got every booster. She got turbo cancer and has had every single kind of problem under the sun
Mm,
ever since.
mm.
And it
Almost
has
the same
been
way.
one thing after another. And I'm like, at what point do you listen to me and let me help you? But that's not a,
No,
you know,
it's funny.
No,
It's crazy too because my father, same thing. He got all the shots. They were terrified, and my mother was literally walking around the house with inside the house by herself with a mask on and that kind of
mhm,
thing. And like that's when all of a sudden his diabetes shit kicked up,
mhm.
and that kind of thing. And it's an issue. It's been an issue pretty much ever since. And I'm like, I always say like that was he had it under control, and then he got that, and he just couldn't keep it under control anymore.
yeah.
Right.
And I
Remember,
always relate that to it.
Yeah, and it's funny because this mRNA technology that they used during that, um, attaches spike proteins to your ACE2 cells. You have ACE2 cells in your liver, your lungs, your heart, your brain, all the important, super important organs of your body. These spike proteins attach to. And so that's why, because especially with the cancer, when cancer hits your liver shoots it everywhere in your body because your liver's a detoxifier, right? But it gets overwhelmed and overworked because your liver does way more work than people realize. But it spreads it everywhere. And so they targeted this specifically to hit the ACE2, because
Mm-hmm.
how many people give DNA samples to 23andMe or Ancestry.com or whatever, thinking that they're going to know exactly what city in Italy that you came from, which is bullshit. That's not a thing. What that was it's a wide swath DNA collection so that they can build a DNA database or a genome. So they have access to literally almost every single person on the planet's DNA, and they can tailor make any kind of toxin, which I don't believe in viruses and bacteria. They can literally manipulate through CRISPR technology, which is, like the old days, like slicing and dicing stuff, right? But they can tailor make that to anything they want. You want it to hit uh Jewish people. Okay, we can do that because we have
Mm.
a big collection of that. You want it to hit black people. Okay, we can do that too. You want it to hit kids, which that's the next thing that I think they're gonna
Mm.
roll out is this another coronavirus for kids.
So what can we do to? I'm one of them. I got talked into it by my wife. What can we do to reverse some of the effects? We got. I didn't get any of the boosters. I just got like the initial rollout, and
Mhm.
then after that, I was like, "This is bullshit. I ain't
How do
going
you
back for any
how
of
do
the
you
boosters."
detox it out of your
Yes,
system?
yes.
Okay, so the question is which without saying the company name because that could get you in trouble, which one did you get? Did it start with a P? Was it J and J?
It was not. It
Was
was
it
not
an
just.
M?
It was M. It was the M.
Okay, yeah, because,
She said,
Oh boy.
okay.
Okay.
well,
That's
and
what I'm.
the
Go
reason
ahead.
why I say that is because each one of those has very different things that happen from it or could happen from it. The initial rollout, you actually may be safer
Oh,
because a lot of the initial rollout did not contain um in the vial the things that the newest ones do. I can't
yeah. What about
No,
This
no,
is
yeah,
where
don't get
be
yourself in
yeah.
careful
trouble.
how I
what was
have to
what?
be careful how I
Can you
word those
can you
things.
say the difference why the J all right the why the one was only one and done and then the other one was um come back for another? Can you explain
Uh-huh.
on that?
Well, why is that? Because J and J is not a giant manufacturer of vaccinations or medications per se, but is the P one and the M one? Yes, because especially if you look on the childhood vaccination schedule, those are the two that make the most of the things that are on the childhood immunization schedule. So they're going to push those more, those two, because there's more money to be made. So the J and
Mm.
J one was like, "Oh, that's nice. That's really cute. You can go away now because you're not going to be funding the government as much as These other two will.
Makes sense.
And I'm
Because
pretty sure that Bill Gates and Fauci both had stocks
I
in
was gonna
Pfizer
say
and Moderna. Oh, sorry.
yep,
Uh,
the one with an M, Dr. Fauci has big ties to them, and, he also has lots of scandals in his past with one of the other,
AZT,
that's
right?
on the childhood well, that too, but something else that's on the childhood vaccination schedule that there was a lot of scandal around, and it may start with an HEP.
I was just gonna ask you about
Mm-hmm.
that one. Roger, has you have a daughter around my daughter's age. My daughter is 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they are already pushing it on her, which I know that's sexually transmitted, correct?
Mhm. Yeah.
Can you elaborate a
No.
little bit, like
Well,
what we should do as
That's
parents?
that is what they say, right? And that again is another thing that has changed drastically. And I will tell you why I would not get that for my kids, boy or girl. Absolutely not. Because it used to be just for girls. They wanted to give it just for girls. And why? Because girls are the ones that, make the babies, right?
Create, yeah.
And so the story was there's 498 different strands of HPV virus. Only 4 cause cancer.
Cancer.
Okay. So we're going to make this vaccination to give everybody on the planet. We're going to put it on, all school kids, all school age kids or whatever are going to be forced to have to take this now because it's been added to the vaccination schedule. And it's just like they do with everything else. 1 dose should be good. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's not gonna do. 2. Wait a minute. No, we should try 3. Let's try 3.
come get that booster.
yeah, keep
Uh-huh.
coming.
And why is that? Because each time that you get one of those, just like every other vaccination ever on the face of the planet, it lowers your immunity. And so when that was actually rolled out and they put it on the vaccination schedule, we were a reporting agency for the state, and this was part of my job. We saw a huge increase, like a 77% increase in female cancers in that area.
Wow.
So ovarian cancer, all kinds of things, cervical cancer, the whole 9 yards. After this vaccination rollout, and then they came along and they were like, "Oh, let's get dose 2 and let's get dose 3." Same kind of thing, only that vaccination actually damages your gut, your gastrointestinal system, and so we had a lot of patients that would have chronic, like, vomiting every time they eat and stuff, and you go and have them tested and they can't find anything and they can't figure it out. This is the same vaccine that injured my daughter. She's
And
vaccine
what,
injured from that.
Ugh.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What vaccine is that? Because that sounds exactly what
HPV.
my
HPV.
bosses. Oh,
HPV. Mhm.
Yeah. What's that stand for?
It's
Human
yeah,
human
yeah.
papilloma
papilloma
virus.
virus. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's the same thing because, like, when they rolled out the varicella, which is the chickenpox vaccine, again, reporting agency for the state, and they're like, "Oh, it's going to prevent chickenpox." Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't think it's going to prevent it. Let's do 2 doses. It'll lessen it. Sound familiar? Did they say the
Mhm.
same thing during COVID, right?
They
Mhm.
did.
So 3 doses later on the varicella vaccination, and we started seeing just explosions of chickenpox in patients that had been vaccinated.
Hmm.
Kind of like they said people that get the COVID vaccine can't get COVID.
Mm.
Kind of like they said
Mhm.
people that get HPV can't get the HPV virus. People that get this chickenpox vaccine can't get chickenpox or pneumonia or any of the things. And what they do is sell you a bill of goods that are total and absolute complete horseshit. 100%. And they repurpose things all the time. And so a lot of things that, it was like swine flu, and then it was manipulated into bird flu and all this stuff, or even the modern day flu shots. And they're like, oh, but you should get it. I know people say they get sick from the vaccine, but it's not live. Trust us. You won't
Hmm.
get sick. And then people get violently ill after
Yeah.
taking it.
I can't wait to play this episode for my wife. I really
Well,
can't.
So my
Oh
my
yeah,
brother
she
currently.
probably doesn't want to talk to me about vaccines because
No, it's
I
especially with
have
the kids,
That's
especially
what
with
it
the
is.
tons of
kids,
Yeah.
ammo. Yeah.
no,
and
Um,
it's
Mhm.
it's
tough, man.
tough. It's tough.
it is tough. Don't let
Yeah.
your kids get vaccines. Like my brother, he currently serves, and when he was overseas, when this all scandemic happened, they forced the vaccine
Them to
on him,
get well, they're
and
guinea pigs.
his yeah, and his
Mhm.
entire squad, platoon, or whatever was down the
Right.
entire next 2 days, like
Well,
completely deathly ill.
and it's the same thing for military when they force them to get like anthrax vaccines and
Mm.
smallpox and stuff like that. And there would be whole units that were out of commission because they were so violently ill for days. Status post, getting injected with stuff. So they experiment on the military and they experiment on kids all the time.
I have a question about the mRNA and the vaccines.
Mhm.
Is there any validity to the amount of boosters you get to where it alters your DNA, perhaps?
Absolutely, it does. Because why is that? Because mRNA is your messenger RNA. So basically, your DNA, communicates with the mRNA, and the mRNA tells the body what to do, you know. And so that's our genetic makeup. That's how God created us, is this unique messenger system. And so when you're using mRNA technology, again, they use CRISPR Cas9, which is genetic DNA splicing, right? So think of it in this way. Say you're a dog breeder and you raise German Shepherds, and German Shepherds are known for having hip dysplasia. Well, you want to create a line that is pure, that doesn't have hip dysplasia, so they can actually extract DNA, cut out that piece that carries the hip dysplasia, and replace it with something else.
Oh
They
shit.
the exact same
Damn.
thing in mRNA technology, is cutting out, again, like I said, the human genome that they have from all of our DNA. They can target that to destroy the lungs, the liver, the brain. They can genetically manipulate that and put whatever they want to into that
Mm.
Is this
technology.
that like
So,
transhumanism? We're trying to. Is that where we start to get into that?
so
100%.
and
Mhm,
essentially, I would
Oh
think,
shit.
so follow along. I could be off, but I was like putting this stuff together. So if you changed, say it was around 900 million people took the vaccine
mhm,
around the world, and you're altering the DNA.
mhm.
If everybody's DNA became the same, would it be easier to control with frequency?
Oh, 100%, 100%. And
Yeah, boys, told you.
there's lots of books on transhumanism, and I can't remember uh who the author is at this point in time, but his whole thing was, in the future we will be able to tell people exactly what to think, what to say, how to say it, when to speak. We will basically put thoughts in their head that they will repeat. What do we
Wow.
have going on nowadays?
All schools.
They hear
Yeah.
something on the news that's on repeat on literally every news station,
Hmm.
right? I'm sure you guys have seen those compilation videos.
Oh
Where
yeah,
it's all
An
the same.
existential threat.
Oh
It's an
yeah.
Yeah.
existential
yeah.
threat.
Our local news station's on there a couple times actually. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And so through
Mine
that
too.
repetitiveness, and they've already weakened the DNA system, what did they do? They caused mass formation psychosis. And so it's like MK altering a whole entire swath of the population. Because
Operation Mockingbird.
if you look at the explosion of mental health
Mhm.
issues that we have nowadays and compare that with, did these people get vaccinated? Yes. It's like these people's brain chemistry is completely and utterly messed up from getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
They're angry, they're bitter, they have no creative thought ability, none of that stuff. And that all comes from genetic manipulation. And I'm really sorry to say, but the medication that you take every day that makes you feel like shit, if you stop it, it's doing
Alexa.
the same exact thing. It's
So,
manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
and that's the
Really
same thing
is.
like with like fluoride, right? Fluoride
Yep.
takes away like your will
It
to
calcifies your
Yes, sir.
pineal gland.
yeah.
When
So,
Mhm.
I told the boys down here in Florida, there's a brand new elementary school just opened, and I was like the first class to just open it. And every morning before we sang the national or the Pledge of Allegiance, we had to swish fluoride for 30 seconds
Mhm.
and then spit it out every
Mhm.
single day. We had to do
You know what's funny about the fluoride thing? Not too long ago, my husband went to the dentist and I went with him. And the first thing he says when he comes out of the office, he goes, "You're not going to believe what she just said to me." And I said, "What?" And she was trying to sell me on fluoride by telling me it's like vitamins for your teeth. And I'm like, "Please tell me you said something to her."
yeah, so I
Like,
went
Plus, you
please.
got to pay for it. You got to pay for the fluoride treatment on
well,
top of
that.
it.
dude,
That's
they want
exactly right. Exactly.
every time I go with my 8-year-old, they want to push the fluoride treatment. It's the first thing out of their mouth half the
Right.
time. Did you want to do the fluoride treatment today? And expose your kid to radiation with X-rays? No,
100% on top of it.
no, I'm good. I just want her teeth to get cleaned and make sure like everything looks like it's in line for where it's supposed to be. And
Mhm.
usually the case is like you could tell. Obviously, the kids' mouths are all messed up
The
and this and that,
problem is
but
most
it's
of
the
us
first thing:
parents
fluoride,
is
fluoride, fluoride.
we follow the lead of these doctors or these nurses, and we
Right,
just
because
kind of.
you still trust people.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yep,
That's the
starting to
problem.
stop.
It's easy for me to not because I worked in that system for so long and there's so many problems and it's so, so broken. And now I'm just like, like even if I have to go to the doctor or something, which I hate, absolutely, hate that. But they'll be like, "Oh, well, you need to take such and such medication," and I'm like, "The hell I do? No, I don't. Give me one good reason why." With actual proof to back it up that didn't come from a pharma-funded study.
Yep.
I want
You're
you to
like the
tell me.
1% that pushes back on them,
Oh,
probably. That they're just
they
like,
hate
ah,
me.
they're
They
like,
hate me so much. It's
I did
probably in my
too.
chart. Big asshole.
Like I
So
know I don't have nearly the experience, but for some reason, just like my whole life, I just got bad vibes from hospitals,
Mhm,
doctors. Like when I broke my hand, I never went to the hospital. I set it myself and went to Walmart, got one of those like little braces with the metal in the middle,
mhm.
worked with it for 6 weeks, and then I went to the health department, asked them to x-ray it, and they said you're good. And I've
Right.
never had pain, but I will do anything in my power not to go to a
Same.
hospital.
And if something is not like sliced and hanging off of me, I won't go because
Yeah.
I will do sutures or whatever I need to do at home. I literally have like a giant cabinet just of medical supplies
And all,
for
all
whatever.
deplorable
natural
Janet,
remedies
medicine
too.
woman.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Natural
And
remedies, I'm a huge fan of that.
yeah, me too. And there's so many things that we can do that don't involve like medications with shitty side effects and whatever. Like I am really into holistic stuff that includes, herbs and specialty things like that, or um doing like essential oils and stuff
Mm,
like that. There's literally things that you can do for everything that will help you get your system back. Is it
Say,
and everything is tailored to your specific need. You don't need 500 different supplements a day. You don't need like a bunch of stuff because we're the most amazing healing things that God ever created, and we have the ability to fix everything. So nothing is meant to be needed long term.
Hmm.
I hear dandelion tea does great for
Oh, it is
cancer and
fantastic for any kind of detox, especially for your liver. Dandelion tea is great, but I will tell people, if you're planning on doing any kind of liver detox like that, also take some activated charcoal tablets, while you're doing it because you have to give the toxin something to bind to so that your body can get them out of your body.
would that be something Anthony can do if he's trying to get off of the
Mhm,
whatever he's on?
mhm. Yep,
Hmm.
dandelion tea is great because, it's such a great detox and it tastes good, it's mild, unless you get, like, roasted or something and you like your tea uber strong. Be warned, some herbal stuff can be really disgusting.
yeah.
Some of it's
Earthy,
extremely
very
bitter.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you also mentioned you do some spiritual counseling with your on the holistic side.
I, spend most of my time on the phone with people that are in crisis, whether
Okay.
it's, a health crisis, a personal thing, spiritual turmoil, whatever the case may be. That's kinda like where God pulled me to, and I
Hmm.
know for
Hmm.
people that aren't religious, they're gonna think that's crazy, but he's always moved me where he wants me, and so, like, he pulled me away from the medical industry, pulled me into holistic health, and then I kind of just became, like, people's.
You've always been a caregiver, and she's
Yeah,
just putting you in place to where you're going to be the most productive to do such a thing.
yep,
Guardian
absolutely.
angel.
Yep.
No doubt.
And I just, it makes me feel good to help people talk through whatever they're going through. Because especially with the way the mental health system is run these days, you're not an individual.
What mental health system?
You're like psychiatrist and stuff like that. So they're not equipped to help people as an individual and see you as an individual. It's like the medical system where one size fits all.
Yeah.
So we were taught this in a book, and it doesn't matter that, you know, your body can't process iron, this person's can. And so we're going to treat you like the same person. That doesn't work because everybody's individual, everybody's made very differently and very complexly. And so the system, the medical or mental health system is failing miserably at helping
Miserably.
anybody because they're not addressing the root cause of anything. And I will say substance abuse counseling is the exact same. They're
Do you,
not addressing root causes at
do you
all.
do you think that really started after Reagan shut down all the psych wards back in the 80s?
I have mixed feelings on that because a lot of the experimentation that we have in our medical history was done at
Mm.
mental health facilities or, hospitals that were for, like, abandoned children or, people with, back in the day when they were classified mentally retarded or whatever, they'd put them in facilities. The Doctor Fauci that we talked about earlier, he is tied to a lot of different facilities in upstate New York,
Shocker.
where he
A
did
lot.
experimentation at children's homes and mental health facilities. So,
He's the biggest dirtbag ever.
and it wasn't
One
just,
of.
it's not just him, but I will tell you, there are facilities where Quaker Oats was also sued because they were giving radiated oats to the patients in a mental health facility. That's what they would feed them every single day so that they could study the effects of radiation on people.
What the
They
So
also they also used facilities like that, where they would give them like hepatitis and see how they did with the hepatitis outbreak.
That's how
holy
Fauci did the
shit.
AIDS, right?
The
Mhm.
AZT, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in an orphanage that he did
Yeah.
that. And they were experimenting on children in the orphanage with AZT. And he's done the same with hepatitis B vaccinations. And that is why I'm torn, because we need mental health
So
facilities, but
fucked up.
we need to redo the way that we do mental health, just like we need to redo the way that we do medical health.
Amen.
The
It's
whole
it's
system.
wrong. It's broken.
I remember back in the day, I used to work with this one guy. I used to do like packaging, like go into like places that were closed down or closing up and like get some of their stuff out of there
Mhm.
and bulk and stuff like that. And we went up to a closed down psych ward up in like right around the Canadian border up north, near Potsdam area.
Mhm.
And it was one of the creepiest places
Mhm.
that I was ever in, and we were literally walking in like basement hallways, all like turn this way, turn that way, like it was just like out of a movie type thing. And I'm like, I could see why this place is closed down. Like, it looked like one
Mhm.
of those like
Well,
test, because I remember
my wife,
saying like it
my
looks like
wife,
this is like a
they
CIA
didn't.
test MK Ultra place.
Mhm.
My wife said that her grandmother, they actually did like shock therapy on her back in
Mhm.
like she's like, she's still alive. She's like, God bless her. She's in her 90s now. But she was so she
Someone else
was
was telling me their
she,
grandparents had that done to
she
them as
was she
well.
was
Mhm.
she was she was mentally unstable for many reasons, but they put her in like a psych ward or whatever, and she was actually did like the whole shock therapy where they put her on the insane. Like I don't know the full details and the full story, but
They still did that. It was before I got into nursing, but I was working at the hospital at the time, doing a different job, and they were doing shock therapy late 80s, early 90s.
yeah.
That was literally still going on where they would do that.
That's
Uh-huh.
wild. That is
Yeah.
so insane. You mentioned
But
something earlier. You kind of snuck it in there when you were talking. You said something about you don't believe in viruses or bacteria.
mhm.
Are you that would mean you're a terrain theorist then?
I am, because
I love it. This
the
is one of my favorite topics. Sam Tripoli talks about this all the time. This is
Yeah,
extremely interesting.
I did a show a long time ago on this, with my friend Dr. Shannon, and the very first theory they ever came out with was the miasmatic theory, and in that theory, it says, that it's the outside environment. So whether it's a pig carcass or whatever that's polluting the water or rotting trees, or whatever, that it's the outside terrain stuff during this miasmatic period. And then they were like, you know what, we've got all these scientists, that we need to endorse and back because they're real big into the political world. So if we push the science, um, and say that there's bacteria and viruses and stuff like that, then they'll back us politically. That's a whole nother. There's a bunch of like stealing people's research and all
Hmm.
that stuff. All the people like Pasteur and all that goes along with the germ theory. they were also deeply entrenched in the political system. That sound familiar?
Mm.
Uh,
Mm.
so then we came to the train theory, which basically tells you that it is your internal environment that either makes you sick or keeps you healthy. And why is that? Because like I mentioned earlier, you have a gut brain connection. When one is out, the other one is going to be out as well. You have pH in your body that if that's out of balance, you're going to be off. You're going to get susceptible to things. So, by not keeping your body in its natural state of balance or homeostasis, you make yourself sick. So, take for example, if you eat a lot of sugar, what happens if you eat a lot of sugar or you're a heavy drinker? Right? You start having liver pain, you start having digestive issues, you start getting really irritable or forgetting things. All of these things happen. And why is that? Because the sugar that you intake is killing off the natural flora in your gut, which then is going to your brain and causing the brain fog and all that other stuff. Ugh, I can't talk.
Wow. Yeah. So
So I
the,
don't, and they have never proved a single virus or bacteria exist.
mhm.
So what it is toxins that you take in from your environment. If your body is in a healthy state of balance, you can take in those toxins and it's not going to make you sick. Toxins as in like, the things that they spray in the sky or household cleaners, bleaches, all the things in our lives. Like if you're healthy and you watch your diet and you do things right, you're not susceptible to infection of any kind.
So it's crazy. Here's a question though. So like, there's been times where, like, say the kid came home with a cold, but then my wife catches it, but I don't.
Right.
Like, what is that because of like just I have a stronger immune system than
Mhm.
those
On the
two
same
did?
story with me. I never get
Mhm.
it.
Yeah,
Never
because
get
that happens a lot.
Yep.
That happens
I
a lot.
I
And
never
also
get sick.
I also deal with 400 customers a day. I'm
yeah,
dealing with people
same.
all day. Never wore the mask. I was
Right.
always like, it's just, I always said, bring on the germs. I always felt it was better for you.
Same.
Right.
I'm in a grocery store
100%.
environment all the time. I work in the public, atmosphere every day, so I'm around a
Mhm.
lot of people, a lot of germs.
And
Mhm.
Raj, I don't know if you're in the same. Like when I do feel something coming on, I feel like it's like one day and then like gone. Like
It's
it's like
gone.
my body
That's
fights it
how
all. Not only
COVID
do
was
I
for me.
right, not only do I rarely get it, but when I do get something, like my body fights it off. And
So
I
that
mean,
would kind of eliminate like germ theory then, right?
Mhm.
Because of that. So
Mhm.
like it's got to be
Yeah,
my
I'm never
terrain.
sick.
Right.
The terrain I'm in makes my immune system stronger than theirs,
100%.
right?
And
Okay.
and what comparing like you and your wife, like has your wife been vaccinated more than you have? Does she have to go to Starbucks every day? Like
Yeah.
how different is your because a lot of people are like, "Oh, well that's silly because we're married so we eat the same foods or whatever." Okay, but are you always together? Does she have like a stockpile of Reese cups that she snacks on all day? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not
Right.
you personally, but
That's
like
that's that's actually
people, they
she does the Starbucks. I do the Reese's cups. So like you kind of hit
so
it on
you
both
kind of balance
spots.
out. But that's the thing is like I said, there's no one size fits all. So when you have questions like that, like how were you raised? Like have you had a lot of injections or have you not? Like what's the diet like? What's your mental status like? What's your mental health like? All of these things you have to factor in when you're looking at a person
Hmm.
and do it like holistic minded where it's the whole body and the whole person instead of you know you look like you have covid so we're going to treat you with all these different medications and you're going to get a shot and you're going to get all these things when it's not necessary because maybe it's just a sinus issue.
Right.
Mhm.
Maybe I have sinusitis. I don't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Allergies.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh man.
I'm
I got
like
so
Um,
much
bigger than I
research
eat
to do
pretty.
after this episode. I
this
love
is
episodes like
honestly,
this.
Janet.
I literally sit back and I'm like, holy shit, here we go.
This has been one of my favorite recordings yet, just because of so
Oh,
much. I took in so much personal knowledge, and I really have to change some of my habits for sure. Because right now they're winning. Right now they're winning the battle, and I wanna
but
better myself.
changing habits, especially dietary stuff, is really hard for people. Especially people that are busy or have schedules, things like that. It's so much easier to grab, Burger King on your way home than have to go home and, fix something or whatever. People always think they
Hmm.
have to go with the convenience thing to eat healthier, but guess what? You don't, because there's always options instead of going to like fast food and picking something up. How about call ahead of time, order like some shaved turkey or something from a barbecue place? You don't have to get sauce on it if you don't want to, and take that home and have that as your meal.
Hmm.
Mhm. No bread,
We
no
cook.
carbs.
We
That's
Right.
my
cook home.
go
We
ahead,
cook
Rudy.
at home a lot and do it. We're both cooks, the
Yep.
chefs. So we always go to like fruit stands, grab stuff. We
Mhm.
cook from scratch, and we always make enough to
Right.
have leftovers.
Same.
I take
Every
always to work all the time.
Yep.
My mom. I help my mom start a garden, so she has a garden. We have pineapples, bananas, green
Right.
beans, stuff like
Well,
that. We use
you're really
seasonals.
lucky because you live in an area where you have like a lot of fresh produce and stuff like
Yeah.
I
that.
was just gonna say that we're limited to 6 months maybe out of the year where we have
Right.
access to actually, unless we're doing an indoor,
Right.
someone's doing indoor vegetation. But
100%. And
You just
it
gotta do the research, the numbers on your vegetables and fruits. You gotta research those
oh,
numbers.
yeah,
big time,
yeah.
big time. And that's why, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna start a diet. Like, I'm gonna eat bananas and cottage cheese. You just completely ruined what you were gonna do for a diet because bananas are so flipping high in sugar.
Yep.
Like, if you let a banana sit, they have so much sugar in them that they start to decay, and that sugar will actually harden even when it's completely flat in the peel, and the peel is solid black. You could literally pick that up and hurt somebody with it because the amount of sugar in there, it
Really?
turns to concrete. Mhm.
And that's
Wow.
what's crazy is those are
So
the
think about
store
what that
bananas.
yeah, so think about that, what that does inside of your body.
So even natural sugar, I mean, is really bad. Like from fruits, a lot of fruits are natural.
Not all fruits.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
There you can look that up. You can do a Google search and it will tell you like what are the best fruits to eat. Literally
I think
the
it's like
best.
blueberries, strawberries, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but aren't
Blueberries,
strawberries
strawberries, and raspberries. Now
so?
blueberries and raspberries are better. Strawberries are a little higher in sugar, but avocado is really good because you've got
Mhm.
healthy fats and stuff like that. And if you can't well, if you can, like lemon water is great for you because
Mm,
lemon water will actually balance your body's pH. And when you get to the point where you're more on the acidic side, you're not going to be susceptible, and especially for females, to like yeast infections or bacterial vaginosis, stuff like that, And so doing that, if you want to do it daily, that's fine. And even if you put like Himalayan sea salt and lemon water, that's a great adrenal booster too. And so that helps to balance out your cortisol, which when cortisol takes over in your body, it replaces your dopamine. And so cortisol makes you tired, irritated, you can't sleep well, you have headaches, you feel chronically just yuck, like you're
mm.
drained all the time. So if you have a lot of those problems, it's because your cortisol's too high.
Hmm.
So what's
I want
that's
butter.
me. So what do I do to fix that?
Lemon water with Himalayan sea salt
So
All right, bet
is the
I'm trying
best.
this.
And you need to get like the purest kind of sea salt that you can get. Because not all Himalayan sea salt is the
good,
best. Now, if you can stand the black one, that's the best. However, the black one actually smells like rotten eggs.
Mm.
Now if you cook with it,
that's tough.
it once it absorbs in your food, your food doesn't taste like it, but it
Okay,
literally stinks. And if you have a sulfa allergy, do not use black sea salt. Mm-mm,
gotcha. Okay, I'll
mm-mm.
try it.
Celtic sea salt is also good, but Celtic sea salt is a little pricey for a lot of people. It's better for you, but it's kind of grayish, kind of tastes a little dirty. However, it has exceptional mineral profile, but like a little bag of it is like $40.
Mm.
Okay.
It's stupid pricey. That's
I
why
just
like
want to rewind back to the blueberries and strawberries. What are your I love blueberries.
blueberries are the best.
So one thing I noticed where I get the blueberries at it's Sam's Club, basically,
Walmart.
Walmart.
Terrible.
The
I
blueberries
was just
are
gonna say,
wait,
eek.
no, I
Right
know
there what made me
let
go,
me ask you something. They're these giant blueberries,
those are
huge.
genetically altered.
They have to
Yep.
be, right? Because
Yeah.
every blueberries I pick at farms and get them, they're these tiny little. They're not
Right.
supposed to be that big, right?
Mm-mm.
No. That's
And why?
genetically altered, and I will tell you, my husband used to work for a company, a big like umbrella corporation that had seed corporations under it that did genetic modification of crop seeds. And yes, that is one of them, is the
Mm.
blueberries.
So what does that do to you? I mean, is that bad for you to
Yeah,
eat them? It's
Well,
not as healthy, I guess.
it's
no,
fake.
because it's genetically modified. Now, did you ever see Morgan Spurlock had a thing? He's had a series of shows, but one of them was called Super Size Me, and it was
Mm,
about
I
like
remember that.
McDonald's.
I
That
think
was
I
his
Oh
most
yeah, yeah,
famous
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, he recently just passed. Yeah, yeah.
He had another show after the one about McDonald's, but it was about chicken and how they genetically modify and alter chicken because doing the genetic mutation makes them grow faster and larger.
Mm,
And what kind of problems did that cause? It caused death from, a chicken had a heart attack, had a stroke, and dropped dead because you're not meant to grow at that pace.
Right.
So think about with the blueberry, like you're genetically altering the structure of that particular thing and the flavor profile and the health profile. And we might put some special additives and chemicals in there to make it resist fungus or make it resist pesticides or whatever.
So it can
So
sit on that shelf an extra
yeah,
couple days or weeks or whatever the case.
100%.
months,
And,
months.
Months,
and
years,
yeah,
with McDonald's. Mhm.
and
mm,
compared to
I've
what she
got
was talking about earlier when she was saying with the mRNA, it's basically the same thing. They're genetically
same thing.
modifying the blueberries the same way
Putting it
they're
in
trying to do
the
it to
fruit.
the people.
absolutely.
100%. And then your
Like
structure is not the same. And so you can't process, even like I talked about before with your brain, you can't process the links in the chain fence because it's being altered and changed. And so you can't respond to stimuli in the same way. You can't respond to, all of your senses in the same way or, um, have those clear critical thought processes because those centers are damaged so they're not there anymore.
and a lot of I tell the boys because I've been in the food business my whole life, and I tell the boys like anything seedless, like a lot of your fruits and vegetables you buy in the store, especially Sam's, Costco, stuff like that, is fake.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
It's all fake.
100%.
Seedless, like I tell people all the time, like why are you eat? I said, like a seedless watermelon.
Hmm.
Like, how'd they grow that? What do you mean? I was like, can you make it without a seed? Your
Right.
whole life you've been taught what? You got to plant a seed and then it grows.
Grows gonna
I
go
said,
see.
how does that grow
Seedless,
without a seed?
seedless watermelon, seedless grape,
Well,
Grapes,
I was just
seedless
gonna say grapes are supposed
cantaloupe.
to, right?
seedless, like heads of lettuce. So what I noticed over the years, and in meats too, but like in vegetables, so let's say iceberg lettuce is a terrible lettuce, right? But that's like the
Right.
most common. And when you get a head, the heart is generally really hard.
Right.
You smash it, you cut it open, and you see the heart. It almost looks like a Christmas tree in the middle.
Right.
Now, when you get a fake one, when you wash it, you already see the color kind of deteriorate. But when
Hmm.
you go to smash it, it's hollow.
Right.
And then you open it up and it's all white and it's got like crazy brown spots in it and stuff like that. And it's
Hmm.
not natural and it's fake.
Right.
Just like
100%.
just like chicken. And I noticed over the years, the size, obviously, like you said, they're gigantic, right? And so they
Hmm.
here, they're like this.
Right.
And I would tell the boys, like, I came across a case of chicken, pulled it out, cleaned it, I cut it, I butterflied it, and as soon as I went to cut it, it was falling apart like string cheese.
Right. And why is that?
Fake
Because
chicken, it's fake.
they don't have to tell you now, and it's not required by law to be on the packaging when they have lab printed meat. It's in the grocery stores, it's on every
Yeah.
shelf,
Salmon a lot.
especially Walmart, is one
Hmm.
of the worst places that you can go.
You cannot buy anything meat from there
I got
ever
No.
a,
again.
I got kicked out of Walmart because I had like one of those like bigger magnets.
Mhm.
And I walked up into the steak department, went to the Great Value Steaks, and I was lifting up steaks there.
No, you didn't.
I swear, I swear.
Well,
And I
You
got
should
kicked
have
out of
recorded it.
Publix, and I got kicked out of Publix because I went into the bakery department and I made the bakery manager tell me what bioengineered ingredients meant in their
100%.
daily baked bread, and he couldn't give me an answer, and people were looking at him, so they threw me out.
Right. And that's the thing, and think back again to, like, during the COVID time when people questioned, like, their pharmacist or whatever, and they were throwing people out for asking questions.
Mm.
Mhm.
So, science is a cult because when did that change where science you have to, like, have a theory and then prove it and all of that stuff? You don't have to do that anymore. All you have to do is believe everything they tell you because it's like a religious cult.
It is.
You gotta believe me
100%.
So,
because I've been doing this for 8 years of college. You need to believe me.
Well, and I will tell you that
yeah, right, right. That's their theory. You got to believe me because I
Yeah,
went to school for 8 years and they give
the
it a piece of
yeah,
paper.
yeah, yeah.
coronavirus is actually in textbooks from like the 1970s. And what does it say right next to it? Flu.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh,
And wasn't the COVID-19 vaccine, it was patented in 2000, I believe, as COVID-1 when they had it on Lysol cans, I think,
Right.
or something like that.
Right. And it was on not just the Lysol cans, but it was on boxes of gloves, right? That these do not
Mhm.
prevent or
yeah.
protect against COVID.
Didn't
Mhm.
and the crazy thing is too when you have the guys who created the PCR test with was it Dr.
Mullins.
Dr.
Mullins.
Mullins, and then you got Dr. McCullough talking. He was the one who did the vaccine. And
The
they're
mRNA technology.
yeah, and
Mhm.
they're telling you what they're doing and like that it doesn't work and everything else. But people are still getting in line to go and take these tests and do these
But
things.
the PCR test, and that brings up a good point because the PCR test is not. It was never meant to diagnose, and
Hmm.
and Mullins said that. His name's Kerry Mullins,
Okay.
and so that's always been the thing. Everybody's known that, and so what do we do if you take your child into the doctor? They do a nasal swab, which is a PCR test. They check for strep. They check for flu. They check for genital warts or herpes. All of these things are also done with the PCR test.
Okay.
But you're telling me that they're specialized just to pick up COVID.
Yeah.
No, they're not, because we use them literally for everything. You swab pus with it, you whatever. It's all done with a PCR test. It's the exact same thing.
Hmm.
And so my point in that is, when in your terrain theory, right?
Yeah.
Your internal environment is what makes you sick. Um, what your body does, it's brilliant because it will encapsulate or form a bubble around whatever it feels is a foreign invader. That's your immune system at work. Those are called exosomes. So it will put like a bubble around an exosome so it can expel it out of your body safely. And so what do the PCR test pick up? Any kind of toxic foreign invader to the human body. So, that being said, they can literally diagnose you with anything under the sun that they want to diagnose you with, because you're passing toxins literally every day, all the time.
And they can set the levels of the PCR levels to wherever they want them to put it that way,
To
right?
read whatever they want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't, I've heard, because of that sac that protects it like cancer,
Mhm.
right? When they go do a biopsy, they actually poke that protective sac, which can
That's
cause spreading,
dangerous.
right?
100%. You should never, ever have a punch biopsy done or anything like that, because it does, and it will spread it around your body, and so it's spreading that toxin or that parasite or whatever your body has encapsulated. It's going to spread that to your rest of your body, because as soon as it hits your bloodstream, it takes off like a racetrack.
And they know that too.
Oh, 100% they know that. But every time, especially females, if you go in, you have an abnormal mammogram, and they're going to go, the first thing they want to do is a punch biopsy. We're going to take a sample of it and see what it is. When you take a sample of something, okay, hard, that you stick a like stick a nail through, what happens? That thing shatters into
Mhm.
pieces, and then it's literally all over the place. And then they're like, well, now we're going to have to send you to a surgeon. So you've already had the specialist do your punch biopsy. Then you got a specialist that's going to have to come in and do like a whole removal. And then they're going to go, we didn't get all of it. So you're going to have to come back again. Why? Because they broke it into fragments. And so now there's going to be pieces that are still floating around wherever. So you've already seen 3 specialists, and then afterwards they're going to send it to a pathologist to read it, and then they're going to go, yeah, well, now you're going to go see a radiation oncologist, and then you're going to see a chemo specialist.
Jesus.
What's the
Cycle
other
never
option?
ends.
What's the other option than a punch biopsy? Like a scrape? Do
Take
they
it out.
scrape it?
Clean
Or,
your body from parasites.
but like, so my dad, for instance, he had prostate cancer. I want to get this
Mhm.
right. He ended up getting his whole. He's 70 years old now, so he just went with getting his whole prostate removed. But I
Mhm.
believe when they first did the testings and everything, I think they took biopsies of his prostate, taking.
Mhm.
So is that like, could that have spread through his body by doing those
Mhm.
biopsies, or what's your
Mhm.
suggestion on that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should not, and that's the awful thing, is that's what they still teach, is to take a biopsy of stuff, when you will have doctors from other countries that will tell you, don't ever, ever, ever do that, because it spreads everywhere. But
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you that a lot of fascinating research has come out lately that cancers are parasites.
Hmm.
They're parasitic in nature, and because what's in our diet? Sugar, starch.
And you got to think about the way, obviously the uptick in cancer in the modern times opposed to back
Uh-huh.
in the day, because it's all dietary. It's
Yes,
all
and
dietary.
because everything we have now is processed, heavily processed, and so it's literally in everything you get, even at the grocery store or whatever, fruits, vegetables, everything is so highly processed and so chemical laden and so full of toxins and parasites, that our body like can't process fast enough, can't get rid of these things, and especially if we have crappy diets and stuff like that, then those toxins and the parasites build up in your system, and parasites love sugar.
Mhm.
So
So
sugar is like just
The
sugar is
worst.
the
bad
devil.
over, and carbs turn to sugar, so
Yep.
carbs
Yep.
are bad as
That's
well.
why that.
Yep.
That's why that.
100%.
Whatchamacallit, the carnivore diet's the way to go. The way
Mhm.
to go. I
Yeah,
got one.
100%.
I love sweet tea, so I do raw cane sugar. I love sweet tea. That's
Yeah,
why
see, and
I don't drink
the
any
raw
soda.
raw cane sugar is better. I don't drink anything but water now, but I was a huge tea drinker for quite a long time. No sugar or anything like that. I used to drink sweetener in it, which was a terrible thing, and that causes like massive migraines.
Mhm.
Um, but now I just drink water. And that is literally it. I stopped drinking alcohol like several years ago now,
Yep.
Congratulations.
and started doing, carnivore, which I kind of do a modified carnivore now,
Mhm.
because I'll eat eggs, and I use seasonings and stuff. If you're strict carnivore, it is like literally just meat and like salt. That is it.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
And
nah.
that's,
Before I have a
you
question,
know,
since we're talking about parasites, is there any truth to ivermectin and fenbendazole? Does
yes.
that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. And which the funny thing is, those medications have been, and I'm not a fan of medications by any means, but if you need to take it for cancer treatments or whatever, more power to you. I'm not ever going to tell anybody don't do something, because it's your choice. But those medications have been on the market for a very long time. And what they are marketed for is people that have rheumatoid arthritis. So think about that, because rheumatoid arthritis and other autoimmune diseases, what they're prescribed for the most, that's the highest prescriber category for those medications in the United States. In other countries, those are primarily cancer drugs. Funny
Mhm.
how we market differently, but autoimmune diseases in the United States are out of control again because of dietary, because we don't get enough vitamin D or can't process vitamin D, but they're great at killing parasites.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, hmm, just makes me scratch my head like, this is for people with autoimmune diseases, but they won't let people take them for cancer protocol,
Right.
even though it's cancer
Yeah.
drug in other countries.
And
And the
it's
is that like
Yeah.
the what about the methylene blue that was big? That I is that
I did a
what's
whole show on that.
yeah? Can you tell me a little bit of your thoughts on
Do
that?
I highly do not recommend that,
Okay.
It
because
looked funny.
when they
I'll have to check that out. I haven't
when
seen it.
they originally developed methylene blue, it was for a fabric dye.
Mhm.
Um, it was in the clothing industry or material industry, and so then they discovered, since it dyes so well, they would use it for laboratory use, and so methylene blue is commonly used as a stain when they're looking at slides under a microscope. So things that samples that they've taken from you or whatever, because methylene blue stains and will uptake stuff. So think about that in the aspect of your cells. They use this to dye things deep blue, or sometimes it comes out like a dark purplish tint.
Mhm.
So you
It always
take that
reminded me
on
of
a
that toilet
regular
paper.
basis, what the hell do you think that does to your cells?
Yeah.
Mm.
And then because it builds up in your system, and your skin is actually your largest organ in your body. People can get
I
blue
mean, people
in
are
the
faces that like their faces are blue. Like I'm like that shit can't be healthy when I see it.
Joe
people
Avatars,
Rogan
man.
was pushing it.
exactly.
Joe Rogan was pushing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not, and if you
no.
look into the things that it actually does, inside of your body, and the how the effects have not been tested. No long-term safety studies, things like that. Like that we're doing this show on it, and I'm like looking at it going, holy crap. Holy crap. Hell no, I wouldn't take that. Yeah,
All
no.
right.
But
That's how we've
One
been saying this whole
if
episode. Holy shit! Holy
Roger's gonna
crap!
Roger's gonna love this question
Well, hold
because
on here. I got this
go
one
ahead.
before I forget, because
Yeah,
with
yeah, do it.
cancer and the
Yeah,
natural
yeah,
medicines and
please.
stuff. Um, RSO, Rick Simpson oil for cannabis. Have you ever heard of that to be used for cancer patients?
I have not heard of that, but I will tell you, we also did a show on wink wink medical cannabis.
Hmm.
Or the cannabis nowadays versus what the cannabis used to be.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, and this is gonna piss off anybody that's a huge cannabis user. Sorry, not sorry, but we talked about mRNA technology.
Yeah.
They do the exact same thing to the strains of cannabis now, and what used to be like 4% THC
Yeah.
has jumped to like 77%
Mm-hmm.
or more through genetic mutation, genetic manipulation.
I got
The
a 24%er right here.
Yep, the
Yep.
This guy.
the effects are longer, but a lot of that stuff, it is not regulated unless it is a government approved grow facility. And so a lot of these facilities grow cannabis in fungus, mold.
Hmm.
So there's all of these things that are now part of your genetically modified plant. It's all part of that and included in that now. And there's no government oversight again for safety studies, long-term effects, and what are they cutting that DNA of that plant with.
Yeah, because there is that like I totally get what you're saying, because of I also do a golf and cannabis podcast.
Mhm.
So I'm very familiar with what you're talking about. So like now here in New York being legal and stuff, they can scan like a COA and get the mold thing. And that was actually a big topic of
Oh yeah,
conversation in the beginning of New York State becoming legalized, because some of these growers, when they were doing it outside, they couldn't control that factor. So now like
100%.
the indoor growers were starting to strive, and like the micro businesses are actually doing a lot better here in New
Mhm.
York because of that pretty much exact reason of what you were just
And
discussing.
that's the thing though, is like I said, they're not anytime the government gets involved, be scared.
Mm,
Um, like
Mhm.
it's not approved unless it's a government approved grow facility. And what does the government do? They try to poison us or kill us or injure us or whatever. And so the government is policing the government and the
yeah,
government approved grow facilities. And so it's like the Wild West. Anything goes as far as their regulations because there are no regulations.
yeah,
Mm.
it's
And
All right,
crazy.
so
so
scary.
It
I have to
is.
ask
That's
this
what.
question, Raj.
Go ahead.
So last year I went down a little micro dosing journey with mushrooms that led to.
I knew it
I
was
mean,
coming.
So
I
did
knew
I.
no.
it.
Well, I have to ask
I
her. What are your
smelled this
thoughts?
cooking the whole show.
Number one, it got me off of a really bad gambling addiction. There's no doubt it rewired my brain, in a good way. It made me a better dad. But I was doing them basically every Friday night, and then I came to a point where I was like, I got, what's the word I'm looking for? I didn't really.
Overdid it.
Out of hands,
Overdid it, and I took a
out of
new
hand.
strain, and I took a way too many. I
Mhm.
got cocky. And that was the little trip that my wife sent me to with the ambulance. I mean, I was when they say that your body you die, like I thought I had died and like left my
Right.
body. It
Mhm.
was an experience that it's pretty wild. I just want to know your
You couldn't
thoughts
connect,
on the whole
you couldn't hang, buddy.
what's yeah with the whole mushroom world. What's your thoughts on that?
Not a fan of that either. However, it can be beneficial when used properly in like military veterans that suffer
Mm,
really severe
PTSD.
PTSD. Would I choose that as my first option though if I was treating a patient? No. I would do more like sensory deprivation chambers and
ooh, okay.
things like that because that alone rewires your brain because, like I talked about before, with the things that genetically are modified that alter your senses and your ability to, taste, touch, hear, smell, all of that stuff. Sensory deprivation actually brings you back to that blank slate so that your body can start rewiring naturally like it's supposed to without having that chemical interference again because psilocybin and ayahuasca and all these other mushrooms and the government's got their hands in this too because since 20 I want to say 13, 14, they have been doing clinical trials on psilocybin use or ayahuasca use in the
Hmm.
pharmaceutical setting and how that will affect patients. So think back to MK Ultra program and Project, what was it called? Project Midnight Express,
Midnight Climax.
Midnight Climax, where they're using like LSD and stuff. They're
I would.
doing the
See,
same thing now with
That would be.
mushrooms.
This would be an awesome episode to do. Have it come talk about like the psychedelic side of like having
Mhm,
like using psychedelics versus like you were saying with the spiritual using the sensory
mhm.
chambers and stuff like that. I
Right,
think that'd be a dope episode to do.
100%. Because like I said, a lot of even the mushrooms and stuff are genetically modified, they're genetically altered, and okay, it can help some people, but also it causes psychosis in
Yeah,
a lot of people
that's where Anthony
because it
went that
messes
night.
up the brain. Yeah.
No, that was just a well, they say marijuana caused. Now they're saying that that's causing psychosis and schizophrenia. But
That's
like,
why
There
I
I support local farmers and I know it's going in
I
my
think though that's
cannabis.
more. I think that's more or less like if
right?
somebody already has like has mental health issues and then they start smoking, it's gonna
Sure.
right,
trigger it more or less.
right,
Hmm.
right, and that's and is it designed to do that? Again, like I said earlier, they
Yeah.
have everyone's DNA.
Hmm.
So if they're genetically modifying vaccines and medications,
Why not our cannabis and our mushrooms? They're doing it to our food and everything else. Holy
100%.
shit.
That's why
Mhm.
that's why I voted no for recreational in Florida because Trulieve, a huge corporation dispensary, put in $150 million and wouldn't allow you to grow your own. So I voted no.
100%.
Yeah.
And
And all my
Taking
friends were
away.
like, "You're an idiot. You're an idiot." And I'm like, "Dude," I said, "I have my medical card, but I get from personal people. I don't get it from the dispensary, you know."
right, right,
But
100% because you know your local people, and so it's no different than, buying local beef or local vegetables or whatever because you know the person and you know the care that goes into it. When you
Mhm.
get it from a grow shop, or something like that. Like I smoke, but do I buy the cigarettes from the store? No, I don't. I buy cigarettes directly from a reservation
Mm,
that it is literally tobacco and water and nothing else. Whereas if you go to a smoke shop up the street or whatever,
right. Who knows?
you have literally any and every kind of chemical under the planet in that stuff.
Man.
So, you
The
know,
same chemicals they put in cigarettes is the same chemicals they put in fast food, like
a
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
They
yeah.
recently just got investigated, I think like a year ago, and they had 31 chemicals in their food, and 23 of
Right.
them were addictive.
Yeah, and don't look up McDonald's. Yes, that is probably the worst one on the list. Uh-huh.
I haven't eaten fast food in over a decade, and I've never had a soda. But I used to work at Taco Bell as a
Hmm.
teenager,
Yep.
first job thing in high school. And I remember putting the truck away, and I looked at the box because I was always curious. And it literally is, and it
And
literally
then it
is
scared you and
worse
you quit.
than dog food. Yeah, it's worse than
Like
dog food.
grade D
Yeah,
meat or whatever it was.
yeah.
Yeah, it's worse than dog food. It's
It's
graded worse than
disgusting.
dog food.
It's disgusting, man. This
Yeah,
was an
no.
awesome episode. I've literally learned so much. I have like a page full of notes, like quick little hitters that I'm
I've been
gonna go
putting notes
dive
on
into
my
this stuff
phone.
the whole time here. Janet, this was great. We really truly appreciate your time. We'd love to have you back on and get into
Yes,
that
it'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
versus like the sensory conversation. I think that would be a really cool because I know Anthony can relate to the topic, and
Sure.
I'm interested in the cannabis side of things too.
And
So
I'll let you know I'm gonna
Absolutely.
try to wean myself. I'm gonna try again with this Alexa. I'm gonna talk to my primary and see what I could do there. So I'll keep you posted.
Yeah,
let's sort of do
What
it.
I make out.
and definitely have them come up with a plan that they actually write down for you. Don't let them just tell you, like, they need to write it down. And if you have to, tell them, I have such a bad memory, like, I'm not gonna remember what you said. Can you please,
Oh, maybe you should
like,
try this medicine.
put it on
Mm,
paper?
yeah,
And then you've got the plan on paper that your doctor gave you. So if they ever try to deny that, you had the conversation or whatever, you've got it in writing.
That's
that's
true.
it.
Good point. Thanks,
That's
Janet.
it.
And
I've really
especially if they
Thank you so
wean you
much.
off wrong.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
I've
a
taken a
problem.
lot. I've taken a lot from this episode. I can't wait to go back and re-listen to it.
Yeah, no.
Normally I don't
But
go back and re-listen to them,
I'm
but this
gonna.
one I'm
I
going
was
to.
thinking that a little while ago.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
awesome.
Well, thank you. I take that as a compliment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
Ma'am, you were awesome.
Definitely, you
sure.
were definitely the sharpest knife in the drawer in this crew, for no doubt about
Uh-oh, that's trouble.
it.
Yeah, right.
uh,
Thank
where
you
can
so
the
much for your time.
where can the
Bye, bye.
listeners find you?
Okay, you can find Deplorable Nation podcast on every podcast platform. If you like to watch the videos, you can watch on Spotify or on Rumble. And if you want to hit me up, you have questions, you have ideas for shows, etc., etc. You can hit me up on Instagram at Deplorable Janet or on Twitter, account number 14, at No Janet, KNOW.
Nice, awesome. Now, do you also you offer counseling as well on the holistic side of things?
I do. I don't charge for it. So
Okay,
if people have problems, they can just hit me up. If
Wow,
I
look at
can't
you.
help you, then I can refer you to my friend Dr. Shannon, who has Creative Light Wellness.
okay,
And she is actually a holistic doctor. So
Well,
gotcha.
you will be
You're the
gifted in the
best.
future for this. You're
Absolutely.
definitely awesome. Really
well,
appreciate
thank
you.
You
you.
were put on here to be a caregiver. That's the way. Just from talking to you, you've been
I
taking
just
care of
followed
everybody
you
forever. Man.
from my golf podcast, so that's me. So
Oh,
if I
sweet.
haven't, yeah,
And I'll do the
absolutely, I'll
same
be
for mine.
checking in on you.
Same
Awesome.
here.
Wonderful. And you'll
Well,
have to keep me updated with the situation and what's going on. Are they going to go, I think we should add another medication to this because I
Right.
think you're having a psychotic episode right now. So we're going to need to add
I was
something else.
I was
Mm.
just gonna say I'm gonna message you in a couple of weeks. Say yeah, after that episode, Anthony went to the doctor. We haven't seen him since.
They're putting somewhere they can experiment on him.
He
Good
might
Lord.
be in Area 51.
My goodness.
Shit. Well, awesome episode. We appreciate you. We're gonna take a quick break here, and then we're gonna break down the episode. Once again, go check out at Deplorable Janet, and we appreciate you so much. Have a great
Thank you so
Thanksgiving as
much.
well,
You too.
and we will talk soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Well,
Legit one of my favorite episodes. I say that when we have a good guest, but this time
You
I
say it every
really think
episode.
I mean it.
Anth, I can tell with you because you start asking a lot of questions and get more involved when you're like into something. and you like it's something that relates to you as well. Like when she was talking to you about like the medicine you were taking and all that shit. So, but dude, I mean, how much did we just sit back and learn, and we just let it rip for over 2 hours? Like
2
we
hours.
never
I'm
did a
like,
2 hour
is that
podcast.
time right now? Holy shit. We
I know.
normally
I'm
do
like,
I know, I can
luckily
believe
I
it.
don't have work in the morning because tomorrow would be Thanksgiving
Here's
here.
the
But
thing. I think listeners, though, are going to stay engaged for that whole episode, dude.
dude,
How do you?
I looked up at the clock. I was 58 minutes in. I go, holy shit.
Yeah,
I
I
feel like we've
know.
been talking for 20 minutes and then we kept
Yeah,
going. And I'm just like I
it's
can
so
keep going.
yes, and when that's how you know that it's a good podcast is when you could go that long and just stay engaged. Man, she was awesome.
I got to give a
Legitimately
shout
so
out though,
cool.
real quick, to Drew from Speaking in Code for plugging us up. That's a big shout out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was awesome.
When certain things she was talking about too, I remembered hearing her. I know she did just the topics and stuff and how in depth she was on one of Tripoli's podcasts. I can't remember the name of it for whatever reason. He did like a separate one for a little while on Rockfin on a paywall, almost like a Rumble.
Yo, how cool is
Patreon.
it though that she puts out her time and her knowledge with the holistic medicine to help people with no charge? And
No
like, I mean, that
charge.
is just
She just spent 20 minutes with us after spending 2 hours with us talking to you about
more.
the
Yeah, I ordered some medicine that it's not even medicine, just some
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 shit to help
dietary
with the gut
yep,
the gut
yep,
health and shit.
help with the
yep,
gut.
It's
yep.
little shit
You
we
know,
don't
and it's
think
like,
about, man.
and it's not only like what we learned, but it's the scary things that got proven as a fact that we already knew that people like would fight you on, you know,
And then
and then
somebody on the
she just turned
inside,
around and
like, yeah.
It's so true.
like how you
So true.
So
solely
true,
base
man.
like doctors solely give you certain medicines based on what the rep pays them. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. You know, or
I'm like trying to think back to all the shit we talked about.
I'll never
like
forget, dude. One time, I should have brought this up to her, but I forgot. Was with the it was actually around the first time when I got on the Celexa. I was like, is this a pretty common thing? And the doctor goes, yeah. He goes, half of the office is on it. They just all take it. Everybody takes Alexa. They're all on it. Like I just remember him just being like, yeah, it's a
SSRIs,
normal
man. Yeah,
thing.
everybody supplemented to them, dude. It's crazy.
I mean, look at what Ozempic's doing rampant through
Yeah.
Hollywood and stuff. You know, or like another thing that people fight me on is the mRNA discussion within the vaccines. And like
Yeah.
the reason why I asked that question about mRNA changes your DNA. So if they change everybody's DNA to the same, they can control them easier through frequency and MK Ultra. And she's like, absolutely 100%. Like for that to
hmm
come from somebody in the medical field who's been in it her whole life,
Yep. Scary.
like you
It's
can't
Mike
really
fucking
Mike
argue
scary,
just
that.
dude.
went boop.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Mike just
said,
wanted
yep.
to Mike just wanted to end chat.
Yep. I
Yeah.
told you so,
Yeah. Mic drop.
motherfuckers.
Mic drop. And I wouldn't say that
My
to you
favorite.
guys. I was saying it to like people who argue it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like
right.
for those who watch and are like maybe like, I don't know. Like yes,
Well,
that happens.
that's my thought on the terrain theory and the viruses and germ theory, like all those. Like there's times, and you even said it yourself, like when you don't get sick, but the whole family is, and you're sitting there chilling in the living room watching Netflix, and everybody's
Yeah. If
sick
it
in
was
the
a
bed.
germ, everybody would get sick.
It's
Right,
true.
right. So it's
Kind
and
of
then when she
explained it.
got
Makes
into
sense.
when she broke it down, it made a lot of sense. And
God. I
dude,
can't wait to
awesome fucking
re-listen to this
episode, man.
episode. My
Awesome
fucking
fucking
mind is
episode. Another
blown.
banger, boys.
Let's go.
I told you when we bring guests, we bring nothing but fire. And that's what we did
Mhm.
here tonight. Awesome episode with Deplorable Janet. Guys, go check her out. Make sure you guys are take 2 seconds, hit the like button. If you're listening on Apple, go down, hit 5 stars on the review. Leave a review if you got a second. Leave a review, won't hurt. With a 5-star review, greatly appreciated. On YouTube, like, share, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Subscribers are definitely growing on YouTube, which is really cool to see. And let's keep moving up that chart. 71. Let's keep climbing the ladder, boys.
And you
Bang.
But
know what we should do when and we're gonna get there quick. I have a feeling like once we hit like 500 or 1,000 followers, that should be like right about when we drop our first merch, and then be like the first person to get it. You know,
there you
kind of
go.
thing.
1,000th person, like do a giveaway.
Yeah, yeah, like
I like it.
1,000 followers
I
or
like
like
it.
We are
drawing, do
working
a
behind.
giveaway.
behind the scenes, I'm working on getting a website up and having options for all types of merch. To be honest with you, so it's gonna be if everything goes through, we can work something out. We'll have a pretty dope website set up pretty soon.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Hopefully,
Let's go.
rolling into the new year is my plan to like launch it like hopefully like mid-January we can get it
Raj,
set up
just
and up
give me
and
a
running.
couple weeks off, will you, bro? For Christmas, can I have Christmas
Listen,
day off?
Two weeks
I
of
was
January. That's all you get.
I told you the days off you're getting, pal. You get a couple of days off. You're gonna miss one night. It's all good. If you gotta miss for family reasons, it's all good, bro. But strike when the iron's hot. I had to take advantage of getting. We had a guest reschedule for us tonight. I was talking to Janet. She's like, when do you guys do your pod? I'm like, actually, Wednesday night just opened up if you're available. And she's like, I'm actually works out perfect.
Bingo, bingo.
And look at the episode we had. You're like, this is my
And
favorite episode.
Stars align, and the stars align. Look, you look
So,
at that.
so you gotta take chances where you can. And another great episode here. But
Yeah, love it.
appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you guys check us out on Instagram, Twitter. We don't have a Facebook, so Instagram and Twitter. I'm gonna start posting more on the X page, and yeah, we'll keep it cooking here at Conspiracy Chaos. Have a good thing. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving or have a good Thanksgiving. We're not going to drop this right away, so I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving and is getting ready to roll into the holiday season here with Conspiracy Chaos. We will see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
This is Conspiracy Chaos. Truth, fiction, or both? Let's dive in.